Good morning, Detective Lieutenant Richard LeBrun, Nassau County Police Department. This press conference has been scheduled to provide details of a arrest this morning for a homicide in the Massapequa Preserve. Present are County Executive Laura Curran, Commissioner of Police Patrick Ryder, Nassau District Attorney Madeline Singas, and the commanding officer of our homicide squad, Detective Lieutenant Stephen Fitzpatrick. I'd like to introduce County Executive Laura Curran.
Thank you very much. So we're here this morning to announce the arrest of the criminal responsible for heinous violent crimes. We're also here to announce the closure for a victim's family. And thanks to the partnership with our federal partners, the FBI, the DEA, Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Attorney, and our District Attorney, along with our indefatigable and determined detectives who never gave up on this. We continue to hunt down the bad guys and make sure they are prosecuted by the District Attorney to the full extent of the law. That's what we've done here, and that's what we will continue to do. I'd like to turn it over now to DA Singas.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, County Executive. First, I'd like to commend the Police Department and especially Commissioner Ryder and all of our other law enforcement partners. This was a dogged investigation. We believe that this person was murdered, our victim, almost 2 years ago. And this police department doggedly made sure that we were able to tell a family that we've identified the remains of their loved one. That is incredibly important for a family to have closure. And it's equally important that we hold the person and people accountable that did this horrific crime. And we will do that. MS-13 does not belong in Nassau County, and we will make sure that these barbarians are behind bars. I'm going to turn it over now to the Police Commissioner.
Good morning, thank you. Today, on Saturday, we announced that we found another human remains over at the Massapequa Preserve. That individual was identified as Brian Lemus. He was 18 years of age. He's from Uniondale. His disappearance was August 24th of 2016. In the beginning year of 2016 and the first couple of months of 17, there were 12 murders committed by MS-13. 7 of those bodies were buried in shallow graves. We've uncovered all 7, found them, returned them to their loved ones, and now have made over 25 arrests involved in that. Mr. Lemus was the final piece that we were looking for. We went back over and over and over to that preserve. Our detectives were persistent, working with the gang unit, working with our homicide guys, working again with our federal partners, the District Attorney, the Eastern District of New York, and of course, supported by the government here in Nassau County. We went out and pursued every one of them. 25 arrests have been made. There's a couple more to come, and those beware, we're coming for you. I announced that the defendant, Stanley Gerson Juarez, age 22 of Hempstead, will be formally charged with the death of Brian Lemus, and we expect to be charging others in the very near future as the investigation continues. Up until this morning, defendant Gerson was incarcerated at the Nassau County Jail. He was arrested for an assault 1 that occurred in Hempstead State Lake Park last year, where he violently stabbed someone. Thanks to the charge today by our District Attorney, this individual, after he is prosecuted, shall never see another day on the streets in Nassau County. To date, we have effected the arrest of 25 defendants related to those 12 homicides. Mr. Juarez has priors for reckless endangerment first. He's had criminal possession of a weapon, 2nd degree, a C felony, criminal use of a firearm, a C felony, assault first, the stabbing of last year. Today's charge, murder 2nd, subdivision 1. It's an A1 felony, facing 25 years to life. We have been pursuing MS-13 constantly over the last 22 months since I started as the acting commissioner. There has been 1 MS-13 murder in those 22 months. It occurred on the inward border, where a murder occurred on the city side and a retaliatory killing was done on the inward side. Those individuals have been arrested thanks to the good work of our homicide guys and our District Attorney. We work together as partnerships. We run down and follow up every single lead, and I can't commend the homicide guys any more than I'm doing today because they went out and raked the leaves. They dug holes. We had backhoes out there. We were going to find the remains, return them to the family, and make sure that this prosecution sticks. And the evidence that they've have gathered in this case is going to make that happen. I'm now going to turn it over to our homicide Lieutenant Stephen Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Commissioner. As everybody has previously said here today, Brian Stephen Lemus went missing in August of 2016. In early 17, we located Julio Esponze in the Massapequa Preserve. As a result of that investigation, we learned of Stephen Lemus's demise and possible burial in Massapequa Preserve. As Commissioner said, we continue to look for him through various intelligence coming in from various agencies, and we were able to locate him just in May of this year. I think they've covered everything. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask?
Can you spell his name, please, the suspect?
Stanley is S-T-A-N-L-E-Y. Gerson is G-E-R-S-O-N. Juarez is J-U-A-R-E-Z. He's born August 23rd, 1996.
Does this follow the same patterns of previous MS-13 attacks where you kind of bring him into the park and attack him?
Yes, we believe so. We believe he knew his killers. They lured him into the woods, and there they planned their attack of him and killing of him, and
why was he
ultimately buried. Excuse me?
Why was he targeted? Was he a gang member or was he resisting membership?
He associated with gang members. For some reason, they felt that he was an enemy of their particular clique, and then thus he was marked for death at that point. Anybody else?
And Detective, do you believe that the day he disappeared was the day he was killed?
That day, yeah.
How do you guys go about identifying him? Was it dental records? How did you
Well, various methods through the medical examiner. We'll obtain dental records, his DNA from family members. Those tests are extensive. And then all of that combined will give us the positive identification for him.
Can you talk about what it was like to...
Hold on. Okay.
How was he killed?
He was killed by multiple stabbings and hackings with machetes.
Mitch, what is the challenge?
Thanks for the promotion.
Talking to-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks for the
Could you
demotion.
just talk about the challenges that you're facing when you're dealing with these MS-13, the crime? And just what is your message?
Look, you heard the DA say it, they're barbaric, they're violent animals that go out, they take their own from their own communities, they hack them, stab them, decapitate them, cut their limbs off and bury them in shallow graves. They do that for a reason. They do that because they want them to be found so they can show what they did. They don't bury them where we can't find them. So we go out there, we work constantly. Our homicide guys are constantly in pursuit of it. The work that they do is unbelievable, and our gang unit works with them hand in hand along with our federal partners. We've hunted down 25. We'll continue to hunt them. There's a zero tolerance for gang activity in this county. MS-13, according to the commanding officer of the gang unit, as of this morning, has its lowest recruitment ever that we know of in Nassau County. That says something. We're making a difference. We're trending in the right direction. Violent crimes down 40%, major crimes down 30%, and continued to lower again today. So we're moving it in the right direction. You join a gang in this county, we're going to come after you. We're going to continue to educate the young to stay out of it when we start our GREAT program in September. And the gang resistance that we're going to be doing, our pursuit from our homicide guys, it's pretty dumb if you want to commit a crime in Nassau County, I got to tell you that.
Does the discovery of these remains and this arrest indicate that there may be another body out in the preserve or...
Everything that we've been back to the preserve several times looking for Mr. Lemus. We knew what we were going to do. And the conditions in there are, it's rough, you know, between the water, the way the water table is, between the leaves, the foliage. Our homicide guys, along with our ESU guys, went down and cut down woods, acres of property, raked up leaves. They went back again and again and again, finally finding that depression that's caused by the decomposing of the body. And when they started to uncover that was the remains we went for. We do not believe there is any other remains in that preserve from MS-13. All the information that we have to this date says that we've arrested and we've found all 12 of our victims. And again, we're talking to our homicide supervisor this morning. It's the lowest they've seen as far as the membership in MS-13 in the county.
Commissioner, I believe you said that you expect to make other arrests in this case. Are those suspects people likely to be arrested, are they already in police custody? And are any of them, do you believe, the same suspects who murdered Mr. Esparza?
I'm going to let Lieutenant Fitzpatrick answer that.
I'll answer that. Some are in custody and some are not. I'm not going to identify who they are, okay? But there are, what we do see is working together with different cliques. So the possibility of that does happen at some point could be, but I can't comment on that. Anybody else?
We asked the county executive and the police commissioner to address the situation with a detective shortage. Why this is happening? Is it money? And is it impacting the fight on MS-13?
I'll just say very briefly, and then I'll turn it over to the Commissioner, that we are in bargaining right now, and this is a problem with the previous contract that was negotiated under the previous administration that is leading to detectives not wanting the job as much because, you know, the incentive isn't so great. So we're looking to fix that in this bargaining that we're doing right now.
Our head count is 360. That's the number that we're supposed to have by the budget, 360 detectives. I have roughly 317. So I'm short, and I know I'm short. The contract is being negotiated as we speak. The detectives will get their contract. They're at the bargaining table, and they're working hard to reach that. We find a way to fix the shortages by using other materials. So what we do is we're an intelligence-led policing department. We base it on evidence-based. We go with STRATCOM issues every 28 days, and then we go out and we fight that crime with that problem. We adjust on the fly. That's why we've been so successful in lowering crime in Nassau County and continue to lower it today. I want to give you a number. We have usually average about 2,000 burglaries a year, residential burglaries in this county. Last year we had record lows. To date, we are at 100 as of this morning. 100 countywide residential burglaries. So we're doing something right. It's called good detectives using good intel and going after it. Will we add more detectives in the gang unit? Yes. Will we get to that number of 360? Guaranteed. We'll get there. But we're going to find a way to keep the people of Nassau County safe. Misinformation that goes out there and puts scare into communities, it's bad business. We shouldn't be doing that. We've got to speak with facts. We've got to speak with truth. And yes, we'll get those 360 detectives. Keith, go ahead. In the contract, a high, top-paid cop, the way that contract was negotiated, and I'm sure there was no intent on anyone's side to come out with the projections the way they come out. But a top-paid cop, when you make him a first-grade detective, he drops in salary. He takes on more work, more responsibility, and you see from the work that's being done here, detectives own their case. They go back and visit families years after their loved ones have been buried. They go to family functions. That's the involvement they take, especially the homicide guys take, with their victims and their families. So a detective should be paid the right salary for the right responsibility. They're going to get there. I promise you they're going to get there.
Okay, thank you.